downs of life. How is it that I can remain steadfast on the path of God, transcending all of these difficulties, all of the problems, all of the issues that I have in my life, and still reach that successful end without ever losing my footing when it comes to my iman? Sayyidah al-Baneen is that lady that has steadfastness in regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in regards to the hujjah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was something that was exemplary. She gave her 4 sons, she gave everything, even gave up her name. For what? For the sake of the hujjah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so we need to see in the times that we live in, more than ever, remaining steadfast is the order of the day. It is the most important thing that you can do on this journey. Service to the mother, or a mother being pious, or service to the parents. وَإِلَيْهِ الْمَسِيرُ, and the journey, إِلَيْهِ الْمَسِيرُ, and the journey is towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of that, walking the path of sayring suluk, walking the path of irfan, of mysticism, of going towards Allah, requires steadfastness upon that path. It is a path that you choose, where you do not pick and choose what you want of the religion, but rather you take what Allah has prescribed to you and you follow it to the T. It is necessary for us to understand and inculcate this steadfastness, to develop the grit and the wherewithal and the strength within ourselves to be able to remain steadfast on this path towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. An individual cannot enter the higher realms of the soul. You were not made just to remain stagnant. No, you were made, the human being was made, that he must constantly develop, must constantly go further. He must not stagnate. 2 days must not be the same. They must constantly move and develop. Each day must be a day that was better than the day before. Each moment must be for the soul to move and progress towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The human being was not made just to remain. Your soul is something that is constantly in a state of fluidity. It's changing. Your aim is to reach that which is nafsul mutma'inna, but before that, you need to transverse the various realms of the nafs. This journey is the journey within. The greatest enemy that you will face in this journey, the greatest enemy that you will face in this path of steadfastness is yourself. See, nafs al-ammara can either go towards nafs al-bahimiyya, or it can go towards nafs al-subu'iyya or nafs al-shaytani. It has 3 ways that it can go. The animalistic self, the angry animal self, or then the satanic devil self. It's only when a person moves themselves out of this nafs al-ammara that they can now come to the second stage of nafs al-lawama. But nafs al-lawama is only a transitory stage. In nafs al-lawama, the person commits sin, but then apologizes, does istighfar, turns back towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The stage is transitory. It's not for you to remain. It's just an in-between, between nafs al-ammara and the final stage of nafs al-mutma'inna. Being content, being one that is at peace with the commands of God, being at peace with the world around them, this world of turmoil, all of the anxiety and the depression and all of the issues that we are to face in this modern society. Not only does it cause us psychological distress, but that psychological distress will then peter down into spiritual distress, where now an individual, though they may not be in nafs al-ammara, in nafs al-lawama, which is a transitory stage, They need to move out of it, but they'll stay there their whole life. Why is it dangerous? Because in Nafs al-Lawama, one day, you're heading towards Allah. One day you're moving away. One moment you're going towards Him, one moment you're sinning against Him. Let it not be the case that in that moment of sin, Allah sends the angel to take away my soul and finds me in that state of sin. And so steadfastness is that thing that will take an individual forward towards that ultimate end. But in order to achieve steadfastness, there are certain things, and I want to share 3 particular stages with you. The first, I want to look at this idea of steadfastness, understanding what are its requirements. The second, we'll look at a solution to this challenge. And then the third way is practical steps to be able to achieve steadfastness. How do we practically do it? Do I just tell you, take a tasbih and recite 1,000 times, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, for example? Or are there other things that we can do? Because the religion is very practical. We just choose to overcomplicate it in our minds. The religion is simple. The journey towards Allah, the path to Allah is simple. There are many ways that one can understand, in many ways that one can reach that sirat. The sirat is one. That's what Imam al-Sajjad is referring to. Allahumma inni ajidu subul al-matalibi ilayka mushra'a wa manahil al-raja'i ladayka mutra'a. That Allah, I see that the various rivers, tributaries, smaller paths flow down from you. Those paths that go towards you are many, towards that sirat. But in order to embark upon any of those journeys, an individual needs steadfastness. So the first thing is understanding the requirements and understanding the need for steadfastness. In Akhir al-Zaman, the time that we are living, Iman, to maintain your faith will be extremely hard. The narrations say an individual will go, leave his home a mu'min, will return a kafir by the night. Because they've done something in that day that has made them turn their back on God or on the commands of God, and thus they return home a disbeliever. Or that it is easier to hold a burning coal within the hands of an individual than to maintain one's iman in Akhir al-Zaman. So we live in the most difficult period in any of the periods since the creation of Adam alayhi salam, where we have no hujjah of Allah directly in front of us. In this period of ghayba, it's very difficult. It's a time of tests and trials and issues for individuals. And especially when we're in alam al-kufr. A show of hands of those people that are sitting here, how many people's parents were born in this country? How many people migrated to this country in recent years? One person only. Everyone else just appeared. I did say a show of hands. Sentiment. So, everyone, by and large, migrated here, which is one set of problems. Then, many of you, I see many young children, I'm pretty sure by their accents, they were born here, which adds a whole new level of problems, which is the most difficult problem. You see, our example of those people that have migrated, people like me were born in Alam al-Kufr and we migrated to other Alam al-Kufr. So for us, it's no different. One Kafir nation, one Taghuti nation to another Taghuti nation. It's one and the same. However, for those that are here, your example is like that of the early Muslims when they moved to Ethiopia. What happened there? Not all of them maintained their faith. We can draw many parallels. In fact, a bunch of people went over, but there were certain individuals that were like, the old ways are probably good. And so then they got back into drinking, they got back into committing haram. All of that, they ended up leaving the religion. Even now, when you see that there are people that migrate here with Iman, they come from Muslim countries, they come from Muslim backgrounds, they come from Islamic families and Muslim families, but they come to Alam al-Kufr, they come to the Kafir nations, and now here they begin drinking, they begin doing haram, they remove their hijab, they do all of these things, shave their beards, they even change their names so that people don't know that they're Muslim. They'll do all of that in order that nobody may know, so that they can assimilate. Where they tell themselves that we are integrating, in reality they are assimilating, taking and adopting the ways of the kuffar within themselves. And then it moves to alcohol and parties and other haram. And then as they're moving through that phase, then they have children, and those children go one step further until we don't know, by the next generation, we've got a Christmas tree and they're going out trick-or-treating. And we're like, oh, look at that. My kid is integrated. And we think that that is our salvation. The Holy Prophet of Islam, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He says, وَيْلٌ لِأَوْلَادِ آخِرِ الزَّمَانِ مِنْ آبَائِهِمْ. He says, woe, woe, woe unto the children of Akhir al-Zaman from their fathers. Says, woe unto them from their fathers. Why? Says, because, the ashab that are around him say, Ya Rasulullah, min aba'ihim humul mushrikun. Said, are their fathers mushriks? Are they polytheists? So the Prophet says, La, no, they are mu'mineen. Says, Ya Rasulullah, why are you saying woe unto the fathers then? Why are you saying that woe unto the fathers or the children because of their fathers? Says, why? Because their fathers are those that don't teach them anything of the wajibat of the deen. I mentioned yesterday, when it comes to tarbiyah, the buck stops with the father. Though the mother is the most intelligent